In this video we are going to talk about the top 10 psychological tricks to make people like you immediately. So before starting this video, please like this video, do subscribe and turn on the notification to our channel for future updates. It's hard to say exactly why you like someone. Maybe it's their goofy smile. Maybe it's their razor-sharp wit. Or maybe it's simply that they're easy to be around. You just like them. But scientists generally aren't satisfied with answers like that, and they've spent years trying to pinpoint the exact factors that draw one person to another. In this video we've rounded up some of their most intriguing findings. Please listen for insights that will cast your current friendships in a new light, and will help you form better relationships, faster. We scoured the psychological research on the science of attraction to find top 10 strategies or tricks to get people to like you immediately. 1. Copy them. This strategy is called mirroring, and it involves subtly mimicking the other person's behavior. When talking to someone, try copying their body language, gestures, and facial expressions. In 1999, New York University researchers documented the chameleon effect, which occurs when people unconsciously mimic each other's behavior, and that mimicry facilitates liking. Researchers had 78 men and women work on a task with a partner, who was really a confederate working for the researchers. The partners engaged in different levels of mimicry, while researchers secretly videotaped the interactions. At the end of the interaction, the researchers had participants indicate how much they liked those partners. Sure enough, participants were more likely to say that they liked their partner when their partner had mimicked their behavior. 2. Spend more time around the people you're hoping to befriend. According to the mere exposure effect, people tend to like other people who are familiar to them. Knowledge of this phenomenon dates back to the 1950s, when MIT researchers discovered that college students who lived closer together in housing projects were more likely to be friends than students who lived farther apart. This could be because students who live close by can experience more passive, day-to-day interactions with each other, such as greeting each other in the common room or kitchen. Under certain circumstances, those interactions can develop into full-fledged friendships. Psychologists at the University of Pittsburgh had 4 women pose as students in a university psychology class. Each woman showed up to class a different number of times. When experimenters showed male students pictures of the 4 women, the men demonstrated a greater affinity for the women they'd seen more often in class, even though they hadn't interacted with any of them. Taken together, these findings suggest that simply spending more time with people can make them like you more. Even if you don't live near your friends, try sticking to a steady routine with them, such as going out for coffee every week or taking a class together. 3. Compliment other people. People will associate the adjectives you use to describe other people with your personality. This phenomenon is called spontaneous trait transference. One study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that this effect occurred even when people knew certain traits didn't describe the people who had talked about them. According to Gretchen Rubin, author of the book The Happiness Project, whatever you say about other people influences how people see you. If you describe someone else as genuine and kind, people will also associate you with those qualities. The reverse is also true. If you are constantly trashing people behind their backs, your friends will start to associate the negative qualities with you as well. 4. Try to display positive emotions. Emotional contagion describes what happens when people are strongly influenced by the moods of other people. According to a research paper from the Ohio University and the University of Hawaii, people can unconsciously feel the emotions of those around them. If you want to make others feel happy when they're around you, do your best to communicate positive emotions. 5. Make friends with their friends. The social network theory behind this effect is called triadic closure, which means that 2 people are likely to be closer when they have a common friend. To illustrate this effect, students at the University of British Columbia designed a program that friends people on Facebook at random. They found that people were more likely to accept their friend request as their number of mutual friends increased, from 20% with no mutual friends to close to 80% with more than 11 mutual friends. 6. Don't be complimentary all the time. The gain-loss theory of interpersonal attractiveness suggests that your positive comments will have more of an influence if you deliver them only occasionally. A 1965 study by University of Minnesota researchers shows how this theory might work in practice. Researchers had 80 female college students work in pairs on a task and then allowed those students to overhear their partners talking about them. In reality, experimenters had told the partners what to say. In one scenario, the comments were all positive. In a second scenario, the comments were all negative. In a third, the comments went from positive to negative. And in a fourth, the comments went from negative to positive. As it turns out, students liked their partners best when the comments went from positive to negative, suggesting that people like to feel that they've won you over in some capacity. Bottom line, although it's counterintuitive, try complimenting your friends less often. 7. Emphasize your shared values. According to a classic study by Theodore Newcomb, people are more attracted to those who are similar to them. This is known as the similarity attraction effect. In his experiment, Newcomb measured his subjects' attitudes on controversial topics, such as sex and politics, and then put them in a University of Michigan-owned house to live together. By the end of their stay, the subjects liked their housemates more when they had similar attitudes about the topics that were measured. If you're hoping to get friendly with someone, try to find a point of similarity between you two and highlight it. 8. Casually touch them. Subliminal touching occurs when you touch a person so subtly that they barely notice. Common examples include tapping someone's back or touching their arm, which can make them feel more warmly toward you. In a French study, young men stood on street corners and talked to women who walked by. The men had double the success rate in striking up a conversation when they lightly touched the woman's arms as they talked to them instead of doing nothing at all. A University of Mississippi and Rhodes College experiment studied the effects of interpersonal touch on restaurant tipping, and had some waitresses briefly touch customers on the hand or shoulder as they were returning their change. As it turns out, those waitresses earned significantly larger tips than the ones who didn't touch their customers. 9. See the other person how they want to be seen. People want to be perceived in a way that aligns with their own beliefs about themselves. This phenomenon is described by self-verification theory. We all seek confirmations of our views, positive or negative. For a series of studies at Stanford University and the University of Arizona, participants with positive and negative perceptions of themselves were asked whether they wanted to interact with people who had positive or negative impressions of them. The participants with positive self-views preferred people who thought highly of them, while those with negative self-views preferred critics. This could be because people like to interact with those who provide feedback consistent with their known identity. Other research suggests that when people's beliefs about us line up with our own, our relationship with them flows more smoothly. That's likely because we feel understood, which an important component of intimacy is. 10. Tell him a secret. Self-disclosure may be one of the best relationship-building techniques. In a study led by researchers at the State University of New York at Stony Brook, the California Graduate School of Family Psychology, the University of California, Santa Cruz, and Arizona State University, college students were paired off and told to spend 45 minutes getting to know each other. Experimenters provided some student pairs with a series of questions to ask, which got increasingly deep and personal. For example, one of the intermediate questions was, "How do you feel about your relationship with your mother?" Other pairs were given small talk-type questions. For example, one question was, "What is your favorite holiday? Why?" At the end of the experiment, the students who'd asked increasingly personal questions reported feeling much closer to each other than students who'd engaged in small talk. You can try this technique on your own as you're getting to know someone. For example, you can build up from asking easy questions, like the last movie they saw, to learning about the people who mean the most to them in life. When you share intimate information with another person, they are more likely to feel closer to you and want to confide in you in the future. So that's it for today's video. If you enjoy this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notification before you go.